In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can manage resource logs. So what I will do is that I will add a log to a resource group and also test deleting that resource group. After that, I will also create a resources or a resource inside that resource group and also test deletion or modification on that resource group. So logs can be applied in a subscription to resource groups or individual resources to prevent accidental deletion or modification of critical resources. So basically there are four tasks that I will perform. The first task is that I'm going to create a resource group, and the second task is that I'm going to add a log to the resource group and test deletion. Then the third task is that I'm going to test deleting a member of the resource group, and finally I will remove this resource lock. So the first thing I will do is to create a resource group. So I'll click on the resource group so that I can create an instance of a resource group. So I'll click create. So for this resource group, that's where I'm going to apply the resource lock. The subscription for this resource group will be this, and the resource group name is RG1, RG1, and the region is East US. So I'm going to click on review plus create, and I will create the resource group. So once the resource group is ready, I will move to the task 2. That is where I will perform the resource lock. That is where I will add the resource lock. So I'll click on the RG1 resource group, and I'll go to settings. Under the settings, you can see informations like deployment, security, deployment stacks, policies, properties, and lock. Now, you need to note that you can apply a lock to a subscription, you can apply it to resource group or individual resource to prevent accidental deletion or modification of critical resources. So under the settings, I'll click on the lock, and I will go ahead and click the add button. If you have any lock on that particular resource group or subscriptions or wherever, you will see the list of lock there. But this one now doesn't have any existing lock. So I'll click add, and I will name the lock RG lock, and for the type I have read only, I have delete. So I will use delete lock, which simply means that I want to prevent accidental deletion. Then I will click OK. So this will apply lock to this resource group. So what I'm going to do now is that I will go to the overview of this resource group, and I will try and delete this resource group. Let's see if it is going to work. So I'll click delete and I'll confirm. Let's see what will happen. Look at it. It said the resource group RG1 is locked and can be deleted. And that's the purpose. We want to make sure that accidental deletion does not occur. So even if you are the one that put the lock there, as long as the lock is on that particular resource group or subscription, you'll not be able to delete anything, and that is the essence of that delete lock. Let's try and create the resource inside this resource group and see if it will be applied to that particular resource. So this time around, I'm going to click on storage account and I want to create storage. And I'll put that storage inside the AZ-900 resource group. So for the subscription, I will use pay as you go. For the resource group, I will use RG1. For the storage account, I will use 1759 storage account. So that's going to be the storage account name, and the region is East US. The performance is standard, and the redundancy is locally redundant. So I'll click review plus create. Remember, this resources or this resource is going to be inside the RG1. So the purpose is to test if the delete lock will still work for a resource or resources inside the particular resource group that will lock. So I'm going to click create to create the resource, and that is an instance of a storage account named 1759 storage account. So it's submitting the deployment, and in few seconds or minutes it should be ready. So I'm going to go, the storage account is ready, so I'll click on go to resource. So you remember the reason why I created this resource, because I want to test the delete lock if it's still active. And remember that this resource, that is this storage account, 1759 storage account, is inside the RG1 resource group, and that RG1 resource group is already locked with a delete lock. So let me try and confirm if that is still working. So I'll click on delete. I want to delete this lock. Look at this information. It says 1759 storage account can't be deleted because this resource or its parent has a delete lock. Lock must be removed before the resource can be deleted, and that is the delete lock. You can see it's still working. So what we've achieved is that you cannot delete the resource group itself, and even any resources inside that resource group, you cannot also delete them. The only way that this can work is to remove the lock, and that's the reason why I'll go back to the resource group and I will remove the lock. So I'll click on the RG1, and on the RG1 I'll go to the locks under the settings and I'll click delete. So what I want to achieve is to delete the lock. So by doing this, I can go back now to the resource group and remove the entire resource group. If I remove the entire resource group, the resources or anything inside that resource group will also disappear. Remember the last time we tried to delete this RG1, it failed, and the reason is because the resource group was locked at that time. And we also tried to remove the resource inside it, that's the storage account. It also failed because it was locked. This time around that I have removed the lock, let's try and delete it. So let's see what will happen. It's going to allow us to delete this resource group. Yes. And if you notice now, it's not giving us any error. And if you come to the notification, nothing yet. No, okay, okay. Coming to the notification now, you can see deleting resource group RG1. So it's deleting it. It simply shows that it's working. So remember the processes or the steps that will follow. What we try to do is that we want to implement a resource lock. So what I did first is to create a resource group and I added a lock to that resource group and I tested deletion on the resource group. It fails. I also tried to confirm if the resources inside it will also fail, and I created a storage account named 1759 storage account, and I tried to delete the storage account. It also failed. And the last thing I did was to remove the lock and I tried to delete the resource group, and this time around is working.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please, let me know what you think in the comment section. And do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.